Okay, so welcome back again. This section is about selection testing and admission. So we're going to run through the selection testing process and then how you apply for a place at Skipton Girls High School, which is through the common application form that all local authorities will use. Okay, so the first thing I need to say is a really good source of information all around admissions and selection testing is the admissions booklet, which is on the website under the admissions for year 7 section, so do have a look through that. The first thing I do need to say is that you have to do the selection test in order to apply for a place at Skipton Girls High School for September's entry in 2021 for what will be year 7s at that point, so current year 5 students. So please make sure you do register for selection testing. Because of COVID-19, there are going to be a few changes just to some of the dates around selection testing. We are just waiting for currently for some Department for Education advice that's going to be issued to all grammar schools. But basically, selection testing, which was planned for the 26th of September, Saturday the 26th of September, will be pushed back a little bit, so it's likely to be at some point a little bit later in October, just to allow students to be back in school a little bit longer before they come and do the selection testing. As soon as we have the confirmed date for that, because we work in a consortium with some other grammar schools who do the same test, as soon as we have the information from the DFE for that and the agreed date, we'll communicate that to parents both on the website, but also because we've got your email addresses when you've registered for selection testing. Okay, so to register for selection testing, if you haven't done so already, that's done through the website. If you've already registered, that's absolutely fine. You don't need to do anything extra. If you haven't registered, you do need to go on and do that. We have also left the date for registration a little bit longer. It was due to close early September, but we've actually moved that back to the 30th of September now. So you have to have registered for selection testing by the 30th of September, and then you'll receive back by email all the details around the actual organisation of the day for that. So in terms of the selection test, when the students come in to sit those, there's 3 parts to that. There's three sort of small mini tests. One is mathematics, which lasts 50 minutes. One is English, which is 45 minutes, and one is verbal reasoning, which is 50 minutes, and there is a break in between for those. Full details of that are in the booklet, but also on the website you'll actually see a link to some familiarisation materials, so that gives you some examples of what the tests look like, some ones that you can have a practice at doing. So please do look at those, because it's quite important that you just at least understood how the selection test actually runs before you come to do that. So please do make use of those. Again, if there's any questions about any of these things, please do just email admissions@sghs.org.uk. Okay, so selection testing then is that process, and then in terms of the actual application process, you need to complete the form for your local authority. If you put Skipton Girls High School down as your first preference, or any other grammar school, if you don't get a place at that school, the local authority have to consider your second preference as if it's a first preference, if that makes sense. Okay, so if you put Skipton Girls High School down as your first preference and you don't get a place, they have to then treat your second preference as a first preference. If you put us down as your second choice, and that there are more first choices, and obviously those are allocated in that way, and we are usually very significantly oversubscribed, and unfortunately not every student who applies is able to get a place, so that's just something quite important just to consider in terms of your application. But there is a bit more detail and actually some worked examples in that booklet to go through. Okay, so in the booklet, you will also find the oversubscription criteria, so they explain how places are allocated if we have more than the 116 that is our admission number applying to the school, which yearly we always do. So it goes through then the order of how those places are allocated. Also talks through the appeals process if somebody's not successful in getting a place at school. So please do have a read through that. The most important thing really to be doing now is, if you are intending to look at Skipton Girls as your sort of secondary choice, you need to register for selection testing. Do that through the website. All the information then comes out via email to you about dates and the processes around that. As soon as we have dates for selection testing confirmed, we will communicate that out immediately to parents, so you know what's happening kind of in the October period. Okay, thanks very much for listening to that bit. As I say, any questions, just email admissions@sghs.org.uk. Okay, thanks. Bye.